All right, so you know how much we all hear about building a healthier lifestyle. And it can feel pretty overwhelming, right?
It really can.
Especially when we think we need to make these huge changes all at once.
Yeah, exactly.
But what if I told you that even the tiniest tweaks can make a huge difference? We're talking micro habits today, and we've got some awesome insights from different experts to share with you guys.
I think people are going to be really surprised by just how powerful those little changes can be.
I know I was. So let's start by unpacking exactly what we mean by micro habits.
Okay, so basically a micro habit is a super small positive action that you repeat consistently over time.
Think baby steps to big results.
Exactly. And the really cool thing is that these small actions actually start to rewire your brain thanks to something called neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity, huh? That sounds pretty complex.
It is, but it's also pretty amazing. It basically means that your brain is constantly changing and adapting based on your experiences.
So like learning a new language or picking up a new skill.
That's a great example. But even smaller actions, like choosing to floss just one tooth, can start to create new neural pathways that make that behavior more automatic over time.
So I'm literally rewiring my brain for success, one floss at a time.
You got it.
I like the sound of that. And this actually reminds me of B.J. Fogg's Tiny Habits method.
Absolutely. Fogg's research is a perfect example of how starting small can lead to big changes.
He talks about making those habits so tiny that your brain barely registers them as effort, right?
Yeah, the idea is to reduce resistance and make it as easy as possible to stick with those new behaviors.
Which ultimately leads to greater consistency,
Yep,
right?
exactly. And that's what it's all about.
Speaking of consistency, this reminds me of James Clear in his book Atomic Habits.
Oh yeah, he's got some great insights into how habits shape our lives.
He talks about voting for the person you want to become, right? Like every time we choose that healthy option, we're casting a vote for the healthier, happier version of ourselves.
I love that analogy. It really highlights the power of those small choices over time.
So it's not about intensity, it's about showing up consistently, even in a small way.
Exactly. Consistency is key when it comes to building lasting habits.
Okay, but let's get real for a second. Life gets busy. How do we actually make these micro habits stick when we're juggling work, family, and everything else?
Well, that's where habit stacking can be a game changer. It's this really cool technique that Charles Duhigg popularized in his book, The Power of Habit.
Okay, break that down for me. What exactly is habit stacking?
So you know how we already have these established routines throughout our day, like brushing our teeth or making coffee?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, habit stacking is all about leveraging those existing habits to seamlessly integrate new behaviors.
Give me an example. I'm a big fan of practical application.
Okay, so imagine this. You're already brushing your teeth every morning, right?
Every morning and every night.
Perfect. So what if immediately after brushing your teeth, you added a 1-minute plank?
Ooh, I like where you're going with this.
You're basically tapping into that existing habit loop of brushing your teeth and adding a new healthy behavior on top of it.
So I'm hacking my brain's autopilot mode to sneak in a mini workout.
Exactly, and it's super effective. There was a study in the Journal of Health Psychology that found that habit stacking increased adherence to new routines by a whopping 40%.
Wow, 40%. That's seriously impressive. Okay, so I'm totally on board with micro habits and habit stacking. But what about those big areas like nutrition and fitness? I mean, those are the cornerstones of a healthy lifestyle, right?
Absolutely. But that's the beauty of this approach. You don't need to completely overhaul your life to see results. Even small tweaks to your nutrition and fitness routine can make a huge difference.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Where do we even begin? Let's start with nutrition. What are some micro habits that can really move the needle without turning our lives upside down?
Well, one of the biggest obstacles to healthy eating is decision fatigue. You know that feeling of being overwhelmed by choices, especially when you're already stressed or tired?
Ugh, yes. It's like the mental bandwidth just isn't there at the end of a long day.
Exactly. And that's where meal prepping can be a total game changer.
Okay, meal prepping. I've heard of it, but I'll be honest, the image of spending my entire Sunday cooking for the week isn't exactly my idea of fun.
It doesn't have to be that extreme. Even just prepping a few key ingredients or planning out your meals for the week can make a huge difference.
So it's more about setting myself up for success, reducing those decision points when willpower is low.
Exactly. Think about it this way. If you've already chopped veggies on Sunday evening, you're way more likely to grab a healthy snack during the week instead of reaching for that bag of chips.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. It's about making healthy choices the easy choice.
And there's actually research to back this up. The American Journal of Preventive Medicine published a study showing that people who meal prepped regularly ate more fruits, veggies, and whole grains, and they indulged less in unhealthy snacks.
That's pretty convincing evidence. So meal prepping is definitely going on my list. But what about quick and easy healthy recipes? I mean, sometimes even chopping veggies feels like a chore at the end of a long day.
I hear you. But the good news is there are tons of delicious and healthy recipes you can whip up in 15 minutes or less.
Really? Give me an example. I need some inspiration in my life.
Okay, how about avocado toast with smoked salmon and microgreens?
Okay, that actually sounds delicious.
And it doesn't sound too complicated.
Exactly. It's simple, nutritious, and packed with flavor.
Okay, you've convinced me. Meal prepping and quick healthy recipes check. Now let's talk fitness. What are some micro habits that can actually make a difference in my fitness level, even if I'm not hitting the gym for hours every day?
You might be surprised by how much those seemingly small changes can add up. One of the most effective strategies is simply moving more throughout the day.
So things like taking the stairs instead of the elevator or walking during my lunch break.
Absolutely. We call this NEAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis. NEAT. I love it. So it's all about those incidental movements that add up over time.
Exactly. And you'd be amazed by how many calories you can burn just by incorporating more movement into your day. For example, a 30-minute walk can burn around 150 calories.
Wow, that's more than I thought. Okay, NEAT is definitely going on my list. But what about actual workouts? Can you really get a good workout in a short amount of time?
You absolutely can. That's where HIT workouts come in.
HIT. What's that stand for?
High intensity interval training. It's all about short bursts of intense exercise followed by brief recovery periods.
Okay, that sounds pretty intense though. Are HII workouts really for everyone?
They can be adapted to different fitness levels, and the great thing about HID is that it's incredibly efficient. A meta-analysis published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that 15-minute HII sessions were just as effective as longer, moderate-intensity workouts for improving cardiovascular health.
15 minutes. Okay, that's definitely something I can work into my schedule. And I've even seen apps that offer 7-minute workouts you can do anywhere.
Oh yeah, those can be a great option too, especially for busy folks. A study in JMIR Health found that people who used fitness apps actually exercised 28% more frequently.
Wow, that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
So it really is all about finding what works for you and making it as convenient as possible.
Exactly. And speaking of convenience, before we move on, I think it's important to remember that a truly healthy lifestyle encompasses more than just nutrition and fitness. Mental well-being is a crucial part of the equation, too.
Oh, absolutely. We can't forget about stress management and taking care of our mental health. But how do we even begin to tackle that with all the demands of modern life?
Well, guess what? Micro habits can play a huge role here, too. One of the simplest and most effective ways to calm your nervous system is through breathing exercises.
Breathing exercises, like just taking deep breaths.
It can be that simple. But there are also specific techniques that can be incredibly powerful. Have you ever heard of the 4-7-8 technique?
The 4-7-8 technique. I've heard of it, but I'm not entirely sure how it works.
It's actually incredibly easy. You simply inhale for a count to 4, hold your breath for a count of 7, and then exhale slowly for a count of 8.
So it's like a mini meditation you can do anywhere.
Exactly. And this simple act actually activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for that rest and digest response.
So it's like hitting the reset button on stress. That sounds incredibly useful, especially when I'm feeling overwhelmed.
It really is. And research has actually shown that mindful breathing exercises like this can reduce cortisol levels, which is your body's main stress hormone.
Wow, so it's not just a feeling, it actually has a physiological impact on our bodies.
It really does. It's a powerful tool for managing stress in the moment.
Okay. I'm definitely adding the 4-7-8 technique to my toolkit. And what about meditation? Is that another micro habit we can incorporate for mental well-being?
Absolutely. Even short meditation sessions as little as 3 minutes can have a significant impact on your mental well-being.
3 minutes. Okay, that feels totally doable.
Right. And there are tons of apps out there that offer guided meditations, making it super easy to get started. Have you tried any?
I've been meaning to. Do you have any recommendations?
Headspace is a popular one, and it has a great free trial, but honestly, there are lots of other options out there, so you can find one that resonates with you. The important thing is to find something you enjoy and make it a consistent practice.
Got it. Consistency is key. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on something that feels particularly relevant in today's world. Digital detox.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. It's no secret that we're all spending way too much time glued to our screens these days.
It's true. I mean, even just thinking about disconnecting can feel overwhelming in our hyper-connected world.
I totally get it. But even small steps towards reducing your screen time can make a big difference.
So how do we incorporate a digital detox into our micro-habit routine? What are some practical steps we could take?
Well, it's all about setting boundaries and being intentional with our screen time. Start small. Maybe designate certain times of the day as screen-free zones, like during meals or an hour before bed.
I like that. Create some tech-free sacred space in your day.
Or maybe challenge yourself to replace scrolling with a more mindful activity like reading or going for a walk.
Those are some really practical tips, and I have a feeling there are benefits to reducing screen time beyond just improving our focus and mental clarity.
You're absolutely right. A study published in Nature found that people who take regular digital detoxes experienced improvements in their sleep quality and mood.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, they also reported feeling less stressed and anxious overall.
Okay, digital detox is officially going on my to-do list.
I think you'll be amazed by the difference it makes.
I'm excited to give it a try. Well, this has been an incredible deep dive so far. We've covered a lot of ground already, from the science of micro-habits to practical tips for nutrition, fitness, and even incorporating those mindful breaks into our day.
It's amazing how much you can accomplish with just a few small changes, right?
It really is, and we're just getting started.
We've got so much more to explore, including strategies for making those habits stick for the long haul and tapping into the power of community support.
And don't forget, we'll be leaving you with a thought-provoking question to ponder as you continue on your journey towards a healthier, happier you.
We can't wait to share it with you.
But for now, we want to encourage you to like and subscribe to Health, Wealth, and Fitness so you don't miss the rest of this episode. We'll be back soon with even more insights and strategies for building a sustainable, healthy lifestyle.
We'll see you soon for part 2. Welcome back. Ready to keep diving into the world of micro habits?
I am. My brain is officially buzzing with all these awesome insights. But I gotta admit, I'm also thinking about the long game.
That's so key.
Because starting a new habit is one thing, but how do we make it stick? Like, actually stick.
Right. We've all been there.
Totally started strong with a new routine, only to fizzle out after a few weeks. It can be so frustrating. So what's the secret sauce? What helps make those positive changes last?
Well, one of the most powerful things you can do is track your habits.
Okay, habit tracking. That sounds kind of simple,
Yeah.
but is it really that effective?
It's actually way more powerful than you might think. Just the act of keeping a record of your progress can make a huge difference.
So, like marking an X on a calendar every day, I complete my micro habit. Or are we talking about those fancy habit tracking apps I've seen?
Both can work. It really comes down to personal preference. Some people prefer the simplicity of pen and paper, while others thrive on the digital bells and whistles.
Yeah, those apps can be pretty motivating with all their streaks and rewards and stuff.
Right, and it's not just about the external motivation either. There's something about seeing a visual representation of your progress that can be incredibly empowering.
It's like proof that you're actually doing it, building that consistency over time.
And speaking of consistency, there's actually some cool research to back this up. A study published in Psychological Science found that people who tracked their habits were twice as likely to achieve their goals.
Whoa, twice as likely. That's huge. Okay, I'm officially sold on habit tracking. But what about those moments when life throws a curveball and we get totally derailed? I mean, we're all human, rights. Stuff happens.
Oh, absolutely. Life is full of surprises, and sometimes our best intentions go out the window.
It's true. Like,
Yeah.
you plan to go for that morning walk, but then your kid wakes up sick or you have an unexpected work deadline.
Exactly. And that's where the WOOBP method can be super helpful. It's this really cool technique for anticipating those obstacles and having a plan in place to deal with them.
WOOPP? I'm intrigued. Break that down for me. What does WOOPP even stand for?
It stands for Wish, Outcome, Obstacle, and Plan. It's basically a structured way to think through your goals, identify potential roadblocks, and come up with a strategy to overcome them.
So it's like a preemptive strike against self-sabotage.
You got it. Let me give you an example. Let's say your wish is to work out 3 times a week. Your outcome might be feeling stronger and more energized.
Sounds good to me.
But then you realize a potential obstacle is that you have a super busy work week coming up.
Ah, yeah, there's always something, right?
Well, your plan might be to schedule your workouts in advance and treat them as non-negotiable appointments. Just like you wouldn't skip a meeting with your boss. You're not going to skip a meeting with your health.
I love that. It's like you're making a commitment to yourself and prioritizing your well-being.
Exactly. And speaking of support systems, One of the most powerful things you can do to make those habits stick is to tap into the power of community.
Oh, that's so true. I've definitely experienced that firsthand. Like when I joined that running group, I was way more likely to lace up my shoes and hit the pavement.
Right. There's something about knowing that other people are cheering you on and holding you accountable that can make all the difference.
It's like you're part of something bigger than yourself.
And there's actually research to back this up too. The American Society of Training and Development found that people are 65% more likely to achieve their goals when they have social support.
65%. Wow. That's a pretty compelling statistic.
Yeah.
So what are some good ways to find that kind of support?
Well, these days there are so many options. You could join online communities, attend local meetups, or even just enlist the support of a friend or family member who has similar goals.
I love that. It's all about finding what works best for you and creating that sense of community and shared accountability.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. Building a sustainable, healthy lifestyle is a journey. And it's so much more enjoyable and rewarding when you have people to share it with.
I couldn't agree more. Well, this has been another incredibly insightful conversation. We've explored some really powerful strategies for making those healthy habits stick, from habit tracking to the WOP method to the importance of community support. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling super inspired to put these ideas into practice.
Me too. And before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, we want to encourage all our listeners to like and subscribe to Health, Wealth, and Fitness so you don't miss the final part of this episode.
We've got a thought-provoking question coming your way and some final reflections on building a healthy lifestyle that truly lasts.
And remember, share this episode with anyone who might be on their own health journey. Let's spread the love and support each other as we work towards our goals.
We'll see you back here soon for part 3. Welcome back to our deep dive. We've covered so much ground, from the science behind microhabits to practical tips for making them stick. But now it's time to get really personal.
It is. It's all about applying this knowledge to your own life.
Because let's be real, information is only powerful if you actually use it right.
Exactly. So we want to leave you with a question to ponder as you continue on your journey to a healthier, happier you.
All right, hit me with it.
What's one micro habit you can commit to starting today? Just one.
Yeah, I love that. Because it doesn't have to be some massive, overwhelming change.
Right. Think small and sustainable. Something you can realistically fit into your life right now.
So maybe it's drinking an extra glass of water each day, or taking 5 minutes to stretch when you wake up.
Exactly. Or maybe it's incorporating a few mindful breaths into your morning routine.
Anything that feels achievable and sustainable for you. Because those small, consistent steps are what really add up over time.
Absolutely. And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about progress.
It's about showing up for yourself, even in those small ways.
You've got this. And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
We're all in this together, one micro habit at a time.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into micro habits. We hope you found it insightful and feel inspired to make some positive changes in your life.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to like and subscribe to Health, Wealth, and Fitness for more episodes just like this one.
We've got so much great content coming your way, all designed to help you live your best life.
And don't forget to share this episode with anyone who might benefit from these insights.
Let's spread the word about the power of micro habits. Because even the smallest actions can lead to extraordinary results.
Until next time, keep those micro habits going.
And we'll see you on the next deep dive.